Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. Today I am spring cleaning / deep cleaning my kitchen. There are a few things that need some scrubbing and things that I've been putting off for a long time, like my stovetop and inside my oven. Things are dusty, my countertops are cluttered, I need to wipe down the cabinets. I made a long list of things that I wanted to do, and it took me 3 days to do them because of life. We have to stop for meals and snacks, so it did take me 3 days, but I am glad I got it accomplished. I'm also going to be showing you a few clips in this video of me making dinner on 2 of the nights that I was doing the kitchen cleaning. The dinners turned out pretty good and the kids ate it, so it was a win in my book. The first thing I'm going to do is clear off my countertops. They were so cluttered and full of junk. To clean my cabinets, I filled my sink with hot water and poured a couple of drops of the Dr. Bronner's Peppermint Castile soap. I love the way this stuff smells. The cabinets took me a really long time to do because of all the up and down on the ladder to rinse my microfiber cloth and move it to the next cabinet. I was also being super cautious and going slow so that way I didn't fall and it was safe. And also just the way the cabinets are, there's lots of grooves, so I had to spend extra time to make sure I got them all cleaned out properly. You can see on my iPad I have something playing. I like to watch other YouTubers' cleaning channels when I'm cleaning. And so if you see me look up randomly at something, that's probably what I'm looking at. After wiping down all of the cabinets, I went back over the areas that we touched the most with some hydrogen peroxide to disinfect them. Moving on to my appliances, I used the same thing that I did for the cabinets. I filled my sink with clean hot water and then I added some Castile soap. I added a little bit more this time and scrubbed them down really good and then rinsed my cloth out and went back over them. After getting my cabinets and appliances cleaned off, I wanted to clean off my countertops, especially because there was a lot of dust and stuff that fell from the tops of the cabinets when I was cleaning them. So I just used hot soapy water and went over my countertops and then again wiped them down with a rinsed cloth. I'm at a stopping point now. I have to start making dinner. I'm going to make a sun-dried tomato pesto chicken over pasta with roasted broccoli. I'm using this jar of sun-dried tomato pesto and I'm going to kind of create my own little recipe and use some other recipes online for guidance. I'm using my Instant Pot, which I'm still kind of new to. I've only used it a couple times, so I still have to try to figure out cook time and all that. Hopefully it'll turn out good. So the first thing I did was set my oven to 425 so I could roast the broccoli, and I got the broccoli ready by just cutting it up into slightly smaller pieces and tossing it with olive oil, garlic, salt, and pepper. I ended up roasting my broccoli I think for about 25 minutes, and then I turned it off and let it sit in the oven to stay warm, and they ended up getting super crispy. So I would suggest roasting it for less time or at a lower temperature. Unless you like crispy broccoli. They weren't burnt and they were still very good, but they were crispy. So next I was chopping these tomatoes. They needed to be used up. They were starting to get mushy, and so I decided to throw them in. I'm not really following any sort of recipe. I just kind of threw in whatever sounded good, and they needed to be used up, so I put them in. I used quite a bit of liquid so that there would be extra sauce. So I used about 2 cups of chicken broth, then I put the chicken tenderloins in, and then I added about 2 tablespoons of the sun-dried tomato pesto and then my chopped tomato. And I just kind of shook the pan a little bit to get it mixed up, and then I cooked it on high pressure for 8 minutes. which ended up being a little too long. The thermometer was reading well into the 200s, so I could have cooked it for several minutes less, probably 5 minutes, and it would have been done. So then I took the chicken out, I shredded it, or I cut it into bite-sized pieces, and then I turned the Instant Pot onto saute mode. I added some garlic because I forgot to do that before I cooked the chicken, and then a little bit of cream cheese. I think it was about 2 tablespoons. Sauteed it for a little bit, added the chicken back in, and then we topped it with, we ate it with pasta and topped it with Parmesan cheese. It was really good. After we ate, got the kids to bed, and cleaned up the dinner mess, the dishes, all that, I wanted to do a few more things on my to-do list, so I tackled the backsplash next and quickly remembered why I don't clean the backsplash very often, because whatever material it's made out of, it like crumbles into small pieces all over the countertop. So after I was done cleaning the backsplash, I had to go and clean off my countertops. Then I decided to clean off our coffee makers. We have an espresso and then a regular coffee maker. They were both kind of dusty, and then the actual coffee maker had coffee splatter all over it. After I cleaned all the coffee parts off and scrubbed them really good, I was done for the night. Okay, it's day 2 of my kitchen spring clean, and I still have a ton to do, so I'm just gonna go through my list real quick and then get started. I started off by clearing my drying rack, and I'm going to put it in my dishwasher to get it clean. To clean my microwave, I put water and vinegar in a bowl, and then I will put that in the microwave for a few minutes. It helps loosen and get things unstuck, like food that might be stuck in there, and it makes it easy to wipe it out. Now onto my stove. This thing was so gross, you guys. It had been way too long since I had given it a thorough cleaning, and so I first went and took all of the big metal pieces off, put them in my sink to be soaked and scrubbed, and then I grabbed a paper towel and just started wiping up the large pieces of debris and any spots that I could get up with just a paper towel. And then I went back through and sprinkled baking soda and then sprayed it all down with peroxide. While I let the baking soda and peroxide sit for a few minutes, I'm going to go ahead and get the metal pieces started in the sink. I just rinsed them off really quick, and then I started filling my sink with hot soapy water, and then used a toothbrush. It's a clean toothbrush. It's just a cheap one that I think we got for Halloween, and started scrubbing them down. Normally I use a sponge or a scrub brush, but we didn't have any, so the toothbrush worked just fine. After getting the metal pieces cleaned off, I came back over to the stovetop and I sprinkled 1 drop of lemon essential oil on each side, and then started scrubbing all of the baking soda peroxide essential oil mixture to get up all of the grease and grime that was stuck on. To clean up and around the burners, I just grabbed the toothbrush that I had used to clean the metal grates off, and I was just being really careful not to push anything down into where the actual flame comes out. I pulled the knobs off and then used just straight peroxide on a paper towel to clean them and the surface where they sit to get off any food debris and get them disinfected. I also removed these black metal pieces and scrubbed them really quick in the sink with hot soapy water and let them dry. And then once everything was dry, I put it back on. Next on my to-do list was to declutter this cabinet. This is where I keep all of my kids' cups, bowls, cup parts, that sort of thing. There were so many cups in here that had parts that were missing or we never used them. I mean, we hadn't used them since we moved here last summer. So I decided to go through it and pull out anything we weren't using or anything that was missing a part and get rid of it, so that way we only had the things in here that we were actually using. This corner over here is our coffee corner, and it was cluttered, and I was trying to figure out a way to make it a little less cluttered and a little more user-friendly, functional, but also not have like a million things out. So it took me a while to kind of get everything sorted. Now I'm going to show you guys quickly what I made for the second dinner. It was a chicken stir fry, and I just used vegetables that we had. We had green beans and carrots. I cut those up, put those in the pot. Then I made the sauce, which was soy sauce. I used half soy sauce, half of the liquid aminos, sesame oil, ginger, brown sugar, garlic, and then I also added some chicken broth. I threw all of that in the pot together with the chicken tenderloins, and I believe I cooked it on high pressure for about 5 minutes. and the tenderloins came out done. So I pulled them out and I cut them into bite-sized pieces. I turned the pot on to saute, and I made a little bit of a cornstarch mixture, added that in to thicken the sauce a little bit, sauteed it for a few minutes, and then added the chicken back into the pot. Oh, and also you'll see pieces that look like mushrooms. They are mushrooms. I had a pack of dehydrated shiitake mushroom chips from Costco, and I decided to throw those in there right before I cooked it, and it kind of reconstituted them, and it turned out pretty good. So again, much later in the night, after cleaning up from dinner and getting the kids to bed, I wanted to get the oven started. I started with a bowl of water and added baking soda to it to make kind of like a paste, and I wanted to get that in the oven so it could sit overnight and I could wipe it out in the morning. When I first started doing the paste, it was like a little too runny, and there were a lot of cracks and crevices and places for the baking soda mixture to drip down into, which I didn't want, so I ended up making it a little thicker. I would say I ended up putting a little bit too much baking soda mixture in there. I would do a thinner layer next time. Okay, so day 3 of my spring cleaning, I wanted to start with the trash can. And again, I didn't get started till after lunch, after we cleaned up from lunch. So I'm scrubbing the trash can down with just some Clorox wipes, or I think these were the Costco brand wipes. And I am using gloves because I do not want that on my skin. And then I moved the trash can out of the way, wiped down the side of the cabinet that it goes up against, and then I used floor cleaner to clean the floor area. And that stain you see on the cabinet and the discoloring on the floor, thankfully that was there when we moved in. We did not do that. This is our kitchen table, and I hate it. It has these 2 cracks that run down the sides for where you can fold the table. And it was my husband's bachelor table. It served us well, but it's a pain in the butt because it collects so much food. And I had to clean out those cracks fairly regularly. So I'm just cleaning those out and wiping everything down with peroxide to disinfect it. I'm on the hunt for a new kitchen table. I've actually been looking for a while, but I really do not want to take this with us when we move this coming summer, so I would like to replace it. Okay, now time to deal with this oven. I put on an old t-shirt and then sprayed everything down with vinegar, and then started to wipe out all the baking soda and scrubbed as I went. I'm using a bowl of hot water to help get all of the baking soda residue up, and I had to change it often just to make sure that I wasn't just smearing baking soda water all over. This whole process did take a while. I want to say it took me about an hour to clean all this off, but I really didn't want to use the self-cleaning feature on it, and I also didn't want to spray any chemicals in here, so I felt like this was the best way to get it clean. It was safe and non-toxic. It did take a while. Again, like I said earlier, I think I put a little bit too much of the paste on. It was too thick, so next time I would spread a much thinner layer, and it probably would not have taken me so long to get it off. But overall, I think it did a great job, and I didn't have to worry about chemicals. And you may have noticed I do have a double oven, but the bottom oven has only been used I think like once or twice, so it was clean, and that's why you did not see me clean that out, because it didn't need to be. To clean the oven racks, I just pulled them out and put them in my sink. Thankfully, I have a really big sink for this. I filled it with hot soapy water and gently placed the racks down in there. You do have to be careful because they could scratch, so I just gently put them in there. And then I used the toothbrush again to go over them with baking soda and soap, and then rinse them off and laid them out on towels to air dry. That is the end of my spring cleaning kitchen to-do list, so I'm ending the video here. I just want to thank you guys so much for watching, and if you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe.